Big thanks to the Small Business Development Center for sponsoring The Vault at 201 North Broadway. The SBDC is an incredible resource for small business owners, offering free one-on-one counseling, business plan support, market research, financial projections, and much more. Whether you're just starting out or looking to grow, they're here to help your business succeed. Reach out to us at bigsky.economicdevelopment.org.
Grand opening with no soft opening. Sold out our first night. It was freaking awesome. Second night, we were down to about 50%. And in the third night, we were freaking empty, and I was panicked. It's like, where did everybody go?
The following is a Big Sky Economic Development production.
It's Mars B.
And Kavo.
And this is The Vault at 201 North Broadway.
A business podcast
where we bring you entrepreneurs, small business owners, and community leaders of Montana.
You don't want to miss this.
Learn how to better start, manage, and grow your business.
And your leadership style.
Tangible takeaways to save you time and improve whatever it is that you're working on.
You're listening to The Vault.
Today, joining us on The Vault is Mike Nelson with the fabulous Northern Hotel in beautiful downtown Billings. Welcome to The Vault.
Thanks so much.
I think you should have a neon sign that says that.
The fabulous or welcome to the vault.
Or both. The fabulous Northern Hotel.
The fabulous Northern Hotel.
In beautiful downtown Billings.
In beautiful downtown Billings, Montana. You know, Mr. Warlick, Steve Warlick and I always argue over who said it first because he thinks it's the fabulous clock tower in beautiful downtown Billings, Montana. And it's really the fabulous Northern. So we were at a meeting yesterday, and he deferred to me as the first time he didn't say the fabulous clock tower. So maybe, just maybe, I'm beginning to
win that fight.
Win the fight.
It does roll off
the tongue roll off a little bit better. That's
the Northern.
It doesn't emulate that stuffy look of, you know, a high-class place. It's like, come on in. Relax, enjoy yourself at the fabulous Northern Hotel.
Beautiful downtown Billings. Well, Mike, we're so happy and excited to have you on our podcast. And we like to kick off our episodes really finding out the background of our guests, getting to know them a little bit better.
What shaped young Mike into who we are today?
Yes, exactly.
What shaped young Mike?
What experiences? Where'd you grow up? What was that like?
Born and raised in Billings, Montana. Yes, I was. I was born in room 222 of Deaconess Hospital, Billings Clinic.
Okay.
So one of the things that shaped me is that when I was old enough to know where that was, my mother told me that had become the loony bin over at Deaconess Hospital and that she was going to put me back in there if I wasn't careful. So I'm sure that's one of the things.
You came into room 222, you shall leave through
222. So you've kind of always been like a champion. Have you always loved Billings? Because I feel like now you're like a very big champion of our community.
So I try to be. I mean, I really want to live the mission of the Northern, which is to be a good neighbor and to improve the lives of our people that work with us and our neighbors through, you know, give hard work and that kind of stuff. So
what was it like growing up in Billings?
Well, I grew up on Broadwater, West 2625 Broadwater Avenue, Billings, Montana. I went to Meadowlark Elementary, Will James Junior High, West High School, and Eastern Montana College.
Wow, so just a Billings guy.
Yeah, but in the middle there was a little detour in elementary school, and we lived in Germany for 4 years.
Oh, wow.
And that was pretty fun. My dad was a life insurance agent, and he sold life insurance to the GIs that were getting ready to go to war. So he made a pretty good living. And,
where in Germany?
We lived in a little town called Zerndorf.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did you learn German? Do you speak German?
I did. I went to German public schools, and the reason we moved home is my little brother and I asked my mother what baseball was. We were not being Americans anymore, and she went, I think she really
we can't have that.
Yeah.
She got really scared.
Exactly. And we moved back, and so then back to Meadowlark Elementary. I even went, this is funny, but I went to kindergarten at Good Shepherd on 24th and Lewis.
Okay.
My mother, we walked all the way there and back on our own. Never was a Lutheran, but went to kindergarten there. And then I got married there because my wife, is a Lutheran.
It's like a full circle moment.
Hey, guess what? Now I'm a Lutheran too.
Funny how that works out sometimes.
Shucks, yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so here you are. You went to West High, then you went to Eastern.
What'd you study?
Economics. I have a degree in. I have 2 degrees in economics. I have a Bachelor of Arts in Natural Resources Economics, and I have a minor in labor economics.
Wow. What made you choose that?
Yeah, what was the interest?
Well, I kind of, first I majored in a lot of stuff because I was really, didn't have any real direction. And finally my wife said, hey, we're moving to Las Vegas, so you need to get that degree if it's going to do you anything. So I took my credits to the boss over there and said, what can I get majors in? He said, well, you got enough for these 2 degrees, so let's major in that and call it a day. And I did. So
let's call it a day. So you mentioned Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Why were you guys moving to Las Vegas?
my wife got a job as a teacher there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She was recruited from the Las Vegas School District from Eastern Montana College. So, Judy and I are high school sweethearts. We met at West when we were juniors and started dating August 8th, 1975.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Now it's 76. Sorry. You give us an extra year. Anyway, she was recruited. She came home from school one day, and this was even before we were engaged. And she says, I got this offer to go to school. Go work in a school in Las Vegas. And I said, well, you're not going to do that, obviously, because my dream is to stay here, sell life insurance, and be governor someday. And she said, no, I really think that I'm going to take this job. It's a pretty cool adventure. And I said, listen, I'm just telling you right now, if you take that job, we're done. She said, see ya. And so we were married 3 months later.
She called your bluff.
And I moved to Las Vegas for, I
Actions
promised.
didn't match the words.
No. You have to put my foot down, but not very far. And I was like, okay, so I'll move there, but you have to promise no longer than 2 years. She said, no problem. So 30 years later, we moved back to Billings.
So what did you do in Las Vegas?
I started off with my degree in economics, doing cost control in insurance. So workers' comp and unemployment claims, those kind of things, I'd help manage those for the casinos. I did a really good job at it and was recruited to work for
So a lot of tennis elbow or...
Yeah, like tennis elbow. Back in the day, it was carpal tunnel. There were millions of carpal tunnel things. And so we did a lot of stuff. We did a lot of study. We did a lot of, economic analysis, but we did our best to control claims. I was recruited away to do that job for just one casino. It was the 7th largest hotel in the world at this time, 3,500 rooms. Well, it was about 1,700 when we started.
Can you tell us which casino it was?
It was the Imperial Palace.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So within a few years, I was vice president of human resources, youngest vice president on the Las Vegas Strip at age 27.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Of HR, too.
Yeah, we called it personnel back then, but yeah, that's what it was. One of the first things that we had to do, though, so that I could fit in was to widen the door to my office because my head was huge. I had such a swelled head. I mean, I was full of myself. But I was in this place where, people in that position we were kings. We were monarchy. You could walk through the property and people would bow down to you because you were the boss and what you said went. And so I got to do a lot of my economic studies in all the different areas of the hotel, including open an insurance agency for the hotel, open a clinic, build a hospital, build a claims representation service. I did a lot of stuff.
For the casino.
For the casino, yeah, because my boss thought the more we could do inside and control expense, the more profitable we'd be. And we were one of the most profitable hotels and casinos in Las Vegas, and probably the country for that matter. In the 80s, we were making hundreds of millions of dollars every year. And I was one of the top 5 or 10 people in the casino. So, it was pretty cool. It was really
What a fun job to have as a 20-something.
Holy guacamole.
Yeah, walking through a casino and everyone's like, Hey, boss.
Yeah, I got to be it. I was cage manager and played with 30 million cash every day. I was casino manager. I could do anything and everything I wanted because my boss wanted me to know everything there was about running the building. And that kind of really made sense to me. I went on to my next job that lasted another 10 years at the New Frontier. And my claim to fame then was I got to be the guy that ended the longest strike in the history of man. It was 6 years, 10 months, 4 days. This 500 people went out on strike, and we brought we brought all the survivors back. So it was about 495.
Wow.
And then
how'd you do that?
We solved a lot of their problems. So in this case, it was a casino that had been on strike for a long time. The Gaming Control Board, who was the leading ruler of the Roost in Las Vegas, told the current owner they had to sell. So it was a fire sale. I was part of the group that came in. I worked for the group that came in and bought it. We took the building over and opened it in about 21 days.
Wow.
I don't know if it takes a long time to take over a business, but we did a 1,000-room hotel with 16 restaurants and 2,500 slot machines and about 40 table games. That's really a big operation. We did it in 21 days.
That's crazy.
And we ended the strike.
Wow.
And we brought all those strikers back and made nice with the unions. And I worked there for 10 years. And again, my boss said, go, if you know a little bit about something, go learn more about it. And if you can help us become more efficient in a department, or if you can help yourself by learning how to run a department, do it. And so for 10 years I did. I was director of administration, but I was also director of operations from time to time. And even for a day or two, I was the boss. It was really neat to get to watch the hold on the 21 tables and get to watch the labor requirements in the food and beverage departments and everything in between. Even we did some sales stuff with testing my economics background to sell rooms. And it was really fun. And I would say those 20 years there, plus the other 10 that I had everywhere else, are what basically was a college education on how to own and run a hotel of my own. And so when it came time to come home.
Was that always something like in the back of your minds? I mean, I know you said to your wife, like, 2 years and we're out. 30 years later. Like, were you guys always, because I feel like at some point when you're there for 10, 15, 20 years, were you still like, we want to get back?
Yeah, no.
You're like, we're good
always
here.
Wanted to come back. We would so again, my wife is in education. So in the summertime, her and the kids would come up to Montana, and I'd get a week or two away and come up with them. And then we'd drive through the mountains or the prairies and say, why in the heck do we live in the desert? It's so beautiful here.
Then you just get back in the hustle and bustle.
Back to the
Get back in
desert.
the hustle. And let me tell you something. There's something intoxicating about having a one of those, rocket ship rides to the moon. That's your career. It was, I rose fast and I stayed high up in the hierarchy in all of my jobs. But when it was over, it was over for me. It was time to come home. And it was simply because things in my life had changed. So my mother was diagnosed with cancer. She had multiple myeloma. And then my father was incredibly healthy. And one night she asked Tom if he wanted a glass of wine. And she walked to the refrigerator. And by the time she came back, he was passed on. He was gone.
I'm so sorry.
It was really, it was a surprise. There was no warning. And he went the way everybody wants to go, which is in about 14 seconds with no warning. It's just, you're happy and you're there.
You're going to have a glass of wine?
Yeah, waiting for your wine?
Yeah. Anyway, Bernie had been fighting multiple myeloma for about 3 years. And back then that was about the length of the fight. And so she decided that she was done. I came home after we buried my dad, and I was my mother's caretaker for the last 90 days of her life. So they died about 95 days apart.
Wow.
And I didn't have anything to do but decompress from the stress. So I remember sitting on the front porch of the house. My parents lived on Moon Valley Road. the same house that we built while I was in high school. And I thought, this isn't such a bad place. My little brother called and he said, "Hey, what do you want to do?" And I go, like, this was about 15 years ago. So I'm 50 years old and I'm too old to work in Las Vegas because that's the young person's game now. He says, "Well, let's go into business together." I said, "Great. I want to bag groceries at Albertsons. What do you think we should do?" He's like, "Well, we're not going to buy an Albertsons." So he says, "I don't know, Mike. What do you know what to do?" And honestly, it took me a little while to figure it out. I was like, "Hey, I know hotels." So we looked around. We knew we wanted to build a hotel or buy a hotel in Billings. And so we picked the Northern.
What was the state of the Northern at the time?
It was shuttered. It was dark. I'm not kidding, there was a huge chain and padlock on the front doors.
Oh, wow, which is so crazy that it's downtown. So I've only lived here with the Northern being the Northern.
Really?
So I had never experienced it locked up.
Well, yeah, it being locked up was a little weird.
Was it like that when you were growing up?
No, it was the place, right? It was the place to go. Every president stayed there. If they were making a movie nearby, the movie stars would live there. That's
like how it is now.
Yeah.
Right? Like if people are coming to play music, you host them.
We do. And it's really, that's where we learned, it's kind of ironic that we picked the Northern. That's where my brother and I learned table manners at the Golden Bell, which is now 10. And and that's where literally I got my first job in Las Vegas was at the restaurant in 10. My dad got me a job interview and I went there to sell life insurance. So I'd gotten half of what I wanted. Remember I told my wife, I'm going to sell life insurance and be governor. I sold life insurance in Las Vegas, but never here, except maybe in college a little bit. Anyway, so it was shuttered. There was a fella in here that was trying to make it a condo, kind of a Trump Tower kind of deal. And he owed some money that he never paid back. Then they foreclosed on it. And my brother and I bought it at a sheriff's auction.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And we were the only bidders. Yeah. I think somebody might have bid like $40, but.
What was it inside like? Did you know? Or were you just like, you're buying it kind of like what you see on the outside? Yeah. That's what you get?
You get a day for due diligence and you can walk around and see it, but you really can't tell what you're getting into.
Yeah, because most of the expensive things are hidden behind the walls.
Boy, aren't they? I mean,
and what year was this that you came back in?
2000. I moved back in October of 2008 and January 9th of 2009.
Okay.
We bought the building at the sheriff's auction. It was something. So, I mean, just 4 months before, I was the guy that walked through the casino and people would kneel and kiss my ring. I mean, figuratively, not literally.
The doors kept getting bigger and bigger that you had to build for your office.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome.
Slim at the bottom, but very big at the top. You know?
No, I got pretty big around too. Anyway, and then on January 9th, so, it's really neat. On the 8th, my wife, Judy, who's by this time an assistant principal in the school district of Las Vegas, the 5th largest district in the country, she's a big wig. And my kids are getting ready to go to high school and in Las Vegas. And they're all around me and they're standing there. We get the... We win the auction because literally we were the only ones to bid because everybody else was probably a little smarter than us, I guess. And my wife, there's a big picture in the Gazette. There's my brother handing the check over to the auctioneer, and I'm on one side and my wife is at the other side, and she is bawling. And these are not tears of joy. She's just like, "Oh my God, what the heck are we going to do? I have to give up my career." And so anyway, I have this beautiful life and beautiful family, and it's a really nice house in Las Vegas, and just except no job. But anyway, all of a sudden now I own this. It's this brick derelict building.
Yeah.
And
structure.
Yeah, I think the auction happened in the morning. The planes left in the afternoon. Everybody's back. So I decided the first night I'm going to walk around the property. It was probably 5 o'clock. It was dusk. And I was up at one of the corner rooms, and it's sitting there thinking, what have I got myself into? I got this ugly old building, and it's empty, and it's...
I know hotels, but
yeah,
this is a little dilapidated.
And then it started to snow.
Oh, no.
So I cried, and those weren't tears of joy either. But yeah, there you go.
So so you guys buy it.
Yeah.
And you move the family back to Billings, right?
No. I lived here all by myself. I lived in the hotel for a while. I tried to stay in almost every room. I was the only guy in there for a long time. And then I moved back to the house on Moon Valley Road because it was a little more comfortable and it didn't cost as much to heat. But both my parents had died in the house, so it was a little spooky being there.
Yeah.
Then we started the process of we're going to rebuild the Northern. First off, it didn't have air conditioning. It didn't have heat. It had electric reheats. So it was like just to keep the building 40 degrees in the winter was about $20,000 a month in the 90s. So that was
that's a lot.
The 08s. Sorry, I get these years all mixed up.
The 08s.
The 08s.
Yeah.
When they closed, it was as if everybody said, "Okay, get up and leave." And then the maids went in and made every bed, every table was set. There's still a couple of old hamburgers in the dishwasher from 3 or 4 or 6 or however many years before. It was spooky.
Like a ghost town, kind of. Like people just got up and left.
Yeah. So Judy left me one of the dogs. We had giant schnauzers, and I had Riley. And so Riley and I lived in the hotel for a while until we moved over to Riley. Riley went to the bathroom in every hotel room.
just marking his territory.
Way before we've remodeled since then. So, all that's gone. But yeah, we had a good time.
And you got to know your hotel on a whole different level.
Yeah, you do. And it's really neat. But then when it came time, so we hired the theme of the remodel was giving Billings back its hotel because this was really Billings' place. Mm-hmm. So we hired architects, engineers, brand identity people, like advertising agencies, that kind of stuff, interior designers, and they were all from Billings. And their mandate was needs to be a Billings hotel, has to have a nod to the Northern, has to be as important to Billings as the Northern was when it was in its heyday. And you can spend. Once we start spending, you can spend your money with this hierarchy. It will be spent in Billings first. Second priority would be Montana. Third priority would be west of the Mississippi. And then fourth priority would be anywhere but California. We didn't realize how true that really was, but that was pretty much our theme. And I think we did a pretty fine job. We did have to hire somebody from Chicago to do some stereos, audio-visual work because we had some pretty neat stuff at the time. But the rest of it, we were all Billings, Langless, A&E, AD Creative, Thompson Interiors. They're all Billings firms. They were all within a couple of blocks of the downtown Northern, and I think it worked.
And how long did it take?
4 years
to renovate, right?
Yeah, when we first bought it, honestly, we thought, well, we'll go in, we'll slap some paint on it, maybe put some wallpaper around and call it a day. But we gutted it. We took 4,000 tons of asbestos out. You guys have done your...
Yes, we had. I don't think we tallied ours, but
4,000 tons of asbestos, and I could talk for an hour on what happens to asbestos now. But we took a lot of that out. And then we gutted it all the way down to the concrete wall, concrete ceiling, floors, everything. And then
so it doesn't matter what Riley did in those rooms.
No, it doesn't matter at all.
Originally on the second floor, was it conference space? So you guys just restored that back to how it was.
We did. We tried to keep the layout as close as possible. So most of the room configurations were that way in the 70s and 80s. They weren't initially like that. The Northern opened with 300 hotel rooms. We have 160 now. So we made them larger.
Oh, they must have been tiny.
They were so small, and they had communal bathrooms on every floor in the 40s. Goodness. We don't now. Okay, I just have to be very clear about that. Everybody gets their own.
But back in the day, times were just different.
It was something, yeah. It was really neat to see the way it was laid out, though. Listen, I had a lot of education on on saving labor with building design in Las Vegas. I mean, those places were designed by hotel professionals. And I came in, we looked at the Northern, and we learned through our research that it was now designed by Halliburton Root, which is a company, an architectural firm out of Chicago. Mr. Moss was a pretty smart guy when it came to getting people to do stuff for him. These guys did a ton of hotels throughout the world, including, and in some other famous buildings like the Watergate in Washington, D.C., Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the Chicago Board of Trade, and let's not forget Soldier Field in beautiful downtown Chicago, Illinois.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why everybody who works at the Northern has to be a Bears fan because, you know.
The
Bears.
Yeah.
The roots of.
Uh-huh. And it's designed to be a labor-saving hotel. And it's really a neat place to work and run.
So you renovate it for 4 years, and then did your family come back? And then when did you start building out staff?
So Judy and
we can't forget about the family and the other dogs.
So youngest daughter's Hannah, and Hannah came back and lived with me the second year, and because she was just getting ready to start high school. Mm-hmm. So Hannah came and lived with me and went to Skyview High for her career, and then went over to Bozeman to go to school.
Ooh.
But Sarah, the oldest, and Judy, my wife, finished the career in Las Vegas. So my wife worked at the school district, and then when Sarah graduated from high school, they both moved back, and that was about a year before Sarah went off to college. Or no, it was a summer before Sarah. And so Sarah went to Whittier in California because she didn't believe in that you're not going to spend money in California thing.
She's like, okay, Dad, let's try it.
Yeah, we're going to go. And so I have a daughter now.
And funny how that just happened too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a daughter who's a California girl, and I have another daughter who is a Montana girl, and it's pretty cool. It really is. Yeah.
Does Hannah still live here?
No, Hannah lives in Jackson Hole. She's in the food and beverage industry, running a department in a hotel there.
Huh.
Apple didn't fall far.
Nope. And my other is an HR director. She's the vice president of human resources in a global fintech firm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's in California.
Bozeman.
She did come back.
So she's in Montana.
She's a Montana girl now, driving an Audi, but she's still a Montana girl.
That's Montana. Yeah.
Oh, so they both kind of went into the same field that you had kind of been in.
I know. I wish they had gone into teaching, but Dad's proud.
Yeah. So then
For sure.
they kind of come do their thing. You get staffed up. What does that opening look like for the Northern? Knowing that you also have two, you have Bernie's, you have the 10. Were those like original? Were those getting built out as the rest of the hotel?
Yeah, everything started. We had we took some people say the brave step, but it's more of a step from ignorance of a grand opening with no soft opening. So a lot of hotels and restaurants are going to say, "Hey, pal, come on in. Let us give you some service and tell us what we're doing right and wrong, and then before we open to the public." So I didn't want to do that. We wanted to be more of a nod to history because Mr. and Mrs. Moss, for the 1940 opening, the opening of this building, Northern started in 1902, but it burned down. Then they rebuilt what we have. So anyway, 1941 opening, they stood at the front door, greeted the town, and then let the people of Billings walk through the hotel for 3 days and do what they wanted with the building. It was really neat.
So did you do that?
That's what we did.
Oh, wow.
That's what we did. We put a big stage out front. We brought in some of those World War II airplane spotlights from Missoula. Senator Tester was there. The mayor was there. Oh, I don't know who. We had a couple of Republican senators. Some girl who said she was Miss Montana, but I really don't think so. And about 5,000 people standing on Broadway. We had the street closed. And there's, you can probably find it somewhere.
I was trying to search pictures before.
Yeah, probably would be.
We'll have to find
maybe on Facebook or something like that. We were pretty active back then. Anyway, Judy and the girls cut the ribbon, and everybody walks into the front door. It's amazing. 10. We had to get the guys in 10. There was so much demand for their booze. We were doing like $7,000 an hour.
Oh my
and
gosh.
selling booze. We had to get them psychiatric help because they all had PTSD. It's like everybody was.
You're like, after that, nothing seems probably really busy.
It was incredible. We had that. Our first night, the hotel was full. We had some people that were paying, premium prices to come in and stay, and then other people, some VIPs that we paid for, and everybody got. Every door had a red ribbon on it, so they had to actually open the ribbon to get in, and they got nice kind of gifts and whatever. And then the second night, so we were sold out. Our first night, it was freaking awesome, right?
Wow.
We didn't know what we didn't know, and everybody just. And then the second night, we were down to about 50%. Probably mostly the people who were staying there for free. And then the third night, we were freaking empty, and I was panicked. It's like, where did everybody go? I don't know where we're going to live. We had no money. I'd spent $30 million, and personally guaranteed every loan.
Oh gosh.
And I got it's like, I remember saying one time, yeah, I'll personally guarantee this because you can't get blood out of a stone. So whatever.
So what time of year was it that you opened?
March 15th, 2013, 4 years later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we started hiring people in earnest 2 months beforehand. We hired a skeleton crew of managers. A lot of companies will do a longer run in than that, but it's like, we're kind of on a budget now.
Yeah.
Because I had spent all my money on mattresses, and like our beautiful mattress.
Other nice things.
The mattresses are beautiful. They're custom made. Well, they're our personal choice, and they're called the Goldilocks Just Right Sleep System. They're beautiful mattresses. They're basically the Ritz-Carlton mattress or the Four Seasons mattress. So we spent a ton of dough on the things that the customers are going to touch. We did things like have 2 separate laundry systems, one for customer-facing stuff.
Okay.
So go to a restaurant with cloth napkins and smell it. That's the first thing you should do is smell it. If it smells like grease, then it gets washed with all the...
Like cleaning.
With all
or
everything.
It'll get washed in the same machine. Because, once you start putting that stuff in a machine, lay your head down on a pillow and smell the fabric. So all the stuff that customers touch is one system. And then we had another system just for our industrial stuff. But we have a commercial laundry. And then, we spent a lot of money on the hot water system, believe it or not. So we have 160 showers and all the sinks that go along with it. But we have enough hot water capacity for 200 of each forever without stopping and never running out. So in other words, I can make 450 gallons of hot water a minute for your shower, and you can use, I think it's 2.5 gallons a minute. So we can make tons of stuff.
Yeah.
Plus we keep 15,000 gallons at 144 degrees just for the first phase. We have that. That's what we spent our money on, was customer comfort. Not so much the things that they're going to always see, although everything that you see in the Northern is custom made, has its own blueprint, and you probably won't find it very close to the Northern. But we didn't spend a lot of money on things like back of the house, fancy office crap. As a matter of fact, like I sit at a secondhand desk, and most of our employees do too, because we're living the service-driven life. Mm-hmm. When you come into the Northern and you talk to an employee, you should know that you come first, they come second. So when I make a decision about something, I need to put myself second to the customer all the time. And that's what we try to do. So we started with the facility, and then we take that philosophy on down to the employees and customers.
I love that you brought that up, because it's something I wanted to talk about with you, having you on, is that Northern hospitality piece. And as you were renovating it and you're implementing these very strategic and thoughtful things with the team, what did that, were those non-negotiables for you out of the gate of, this is how our customers will be treated, and what went behind that thought process of building all of that out?
Yeah, it was very important in the beginning, but you have to remember that you can't have a philosophy like we used to in some places in Las Vegas, which was smile or die. Because you know what, that's not very genuine. it works, but it's not very genuine. So I did a lot of work along those lines in Las Vegas. And the one thing that I learned above all else is if you have a big book of plans, you know, like your SOPs, or you have a big book of rules, or you have a big book of procedures for every little group, what you're going to end up with is a big book of rules.
Yep.
Right. I mean, I have a 10-page handbook, and I can't tell you how many managers have read it because it's probably like me. So instead, we try to work through mottos and slogans. Slogan is a terrible word, but that's basically what it is. So we brought in all of our employees on February 14th when we had 30 days of training. The first day we had 170 people in the ballroom, and the mayor and some other dignitaries, I think a couple of county commissioners. We might have had Congressman Rehberg, and we had a bunch of other people just come in, tell them hello. Tina Volek went. She said hello and addressed the group. And everybody got their first few hours of, you know, being made to feel really important because they were. And then we went to work on the three legs of hospitality at the Northern: connect, empathize, and respect. And we still teach that to this day. Every month I give a class on connecting, empathizing, and respecting. And I make people stare at each other, make eye contact, raise their eyebrows like you just did, and say, "Hi, welcome to the Northern." That's something that I have done since the 80s, and they still do it in a little nightclub called Gillies. It's on the Las Vegas Strip.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So George Maragos built that, and Mike Nelson staffed it for the first time. And then we started that connect, empathize, and respect. No, we started the connect, empathize, respect, and the hi, welcome to Gillies with the eyebrows. You know, the place is still open. It's the longest running nightclub in the history of Las Vegas.
Isn't it? Wow. It's a country one, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mickey Gilly, that kind of thing.
With the, It
was funner at the Frontier, but now it's at the Treasure Island, and it's still really cool. So we connect with the guest. We empathize with the guest. That doesn't mean, you know, that we feel sorry for them. It means like if you know that the freeways are icy or the highways are icy and you're checking somebody in the middle of the night, they probably had a
pretty scary drive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you're going to get them to their room and maybe offer them a cocktail, right? So that's empathize. And a respect, and that's the big part of it. So you're to respect the guests, the rules, the building, because it's expensive and we don't have a lot of money to repair it. Mm-hmm. But guess what? All your bosses have to connect, empathize, and respect. So guess what? That means respect is a two-way street. And if your boss doesn't respect you, then you get to talk to anybody that you want in the building to see if we can recognize why and fix it. So it's a two-way street. And we spend a lot of time doing connect, empathize, and respect. What are the three tiers of customer service at the Northern? Connect, empathize, and respect. And here's how I knew we were hitting it. About 6 months after we opened, I think, there was the governor's conference on commerce at the DoubleTree Hotel. And I was asked to speak as a person that developed, as a developer. Me, I'm a developer. Sure. And I was supposed to give 4...
It's not funny because you are.
Yeah, but I'm just an HR guy. Anyway, so I go there. I'm supposed to give 4 15-minute talks. And the first time I sit down, I go, "Hey, you're the guy from the Northern, aren't you?" It's like, "Yes, I am." "Well, hey, let me ask you a question. How'd you get people to be so nice?" So connect, empathize, respect. Okay, well, the people are coming in going, "You know, I run a hotel in Miles City, Montana." What? Connect, empathize, respect. Well, it's no secret. We'll teach it to anybody. I never got to speak about developing the, downtown Billings, Montana. All I ever got to speak about was, how'd you get such nice employees?
Well, that's like a really
but
big
I think
compliment.
it's like they believe it too, and you've done it for so long now too with them. Like, no matter what level you're working with, if you're checking in as a guest, or we use you guys mostly, we're over there mostly for conference space.
Yeah.
And then we
and no matter what employee we're working with, I'm working with.
Connect, empathize, and you do. Hi, welcome to the Northern.
Yep. How can we help you?
So happy you're here.
I can say that your employees don't do it that way.
No, they don't, because they're embarrassed. But you should see them at orientation. Like, okay, now count off by twos. All right, one, phase two. Make eye contact. Now, like, well, for how long, Mike? How should just long enough for it to feel creepy, and then raise your eyebrows and welcome. Yeah. Well, authentic is good, but I say creepy, and that gets it. And then everybody turns red, and they do it. I go have a cup of coffee, come back. They're all just waiting for me, going, "Okay, we said it. Can we move on?"
Like, oh no, you have to do it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I really think it's the base. You know, and it's all about why do you want that employee to be with you? We really want to give our employees an opportunity, the same opportunity I got. So we let our employees move around. If they want to work at 2 or 3 or 4 different departments, hey, knock yourself out. We've put employees through even entrepreneurial training, like at the Big Sky Economic Development Authority. I put 12 of them through about 5 years ago.
Yeah, would you talk a little bit about that? That was another question I had.
I'm never, ever going to do that again because 11 of them went off and started their own businesses.
Dang it.
Some of them competed with me.
But I think that's something that, and I want to learn more about that, but you have been so involved in the community also with students and developing out the future workers.
Well, don't forget, I've been married to a teacher for 41 years. So, 43.
She's rubbed off a little.
Hold on. 40, I don't know.
I'm really bad at math, so I couldn't tell you.
So how many years that is?
I don't know.
I'm really bad at math.
Yeah. We came to back to Billings, and honestly, I felt like I had gotten so many opportunities. I was going to say breaks, and I guess they were, but so many opportunities to screw up or do well in my life. I mean, I was in the right place at the right time and got my first VP job at the Imperial Palace just because I was in the right place at the right time. And then I had to work hard and make good, right? Or because they had a probationary period, I could have gotten canned. By the way, I've been canned a few times. But, I mean, my brother suggesting that we go into business together, I think that was an incredible opportunity. It was a real gift. What a great partner to have. This guy has done nothing to interfere. He just wants to pat me on the back and say, do better. You can do it, Mike. You're the greatest.
Is he younger or older? Remind me.
I tell everybody he's older, but he's just because it bugs him. He's 3 years younger than I am.
Okay.
And a lot richer too, by the way.
He's started as a very successful business himself.
Mm-hmm. He has. Yeah. Zoot Enterprises. Anyway, that's
a story for another day.
That is.
I was going to ask you if that leadership you experienced, younger, really impacted how you manage today. And it seems like it has. It's giving everybody the opportunity to try different things, to become a little bit more skilled in different areas.
Yeah. My friend William Henry likes to say, let's give somebody a hand up rather than a hand out. Mm-hmm. And I think that's exactly what we did at the Imperial Palace. I had a boss who was willing to do just about anything for his employees as long as they worked their fingers to the bone. And if they needed a little more, there was always something there for them. And I just loved that idea. I mean, that guy and the general manager there were my mentors, and they got me to the point where I was, able to hold my own in Hotel Mecca, Las Vegas, Nevada. So why not? It really makes sense to do that for the people in Billings. Let's see, the hotel and restaurant workforce is we're not rich. There are probably more poor people per capita at the Northern Hotel because of the employees, because they're all working really close or just above the poverty line. Mm-hmm. I'm proud to say that we started talking at Bethesda one time about living wages. So I went back to my executive committee and I said, I challenge you to make enough money to pay a living wage. I can't ever imagine being able to afford to pay $15 an hour, but that's what I want our average hourly wage to be. Today it's $23.50 an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, not bad.
That's not bad.
I'm pretty proud of that.
You should be.
Yeah, I had to sell my boat, but that's not true. I don't have a boat. And
I don't know if you use it very much anyway. Sounds like you're busy. You're a busy guy.
So I forget where we were.
The entrepreneurs and the students.
Anyway, so I really think if you give people an opportunity to envision the future, and a better future with them in it. It's a two-way street, right? They're going to do better. They're going to work harder, and they're going to benefit from it. I had a boss one time say, "Yeah, I know, Mike, you're working a lot harder than your pay, but you're getting a lot of money and experience. Just wait till." I didn't believe him then, and all of a sudden one day I have this beautiful brick square building in the middle of downtown Billings, Montana, and I believe in it. It works, and we've had innumerable people move on to higher jobs, food and beverage manager jobs, hotel manager jobs. We have our first hotel manager moved on. She's a regional vice president for a hotel company in Western Montana.
Wow.
A regional vice. She started with us.
And she learned a lot from you.
She was a housekeeper when she started with us. And then within a month or two, she was a hotel manager and then stayed with us for a number of years. It's just fun to watch that kind of stuff.
I love that. And one of my favorite memories of you giving a hand up is the Hive is a high school pitch competition for individuals that are looking to start or expand businesses. And you were a judge, and this gentleman brings up, I think it was homemade pasta or raviolis.
Oh, yeah?
And you said, "Come see me, I'll give you a job."
So do you know the story about Caleb? Caleb wanted to buy a food truck. He wanted to sell pasta out of the food truck. And I asked him, had you ever worked in a restaurant before? He's like, "Nope." But my mom and I cook, and it makes it a really great time for me. I said, "Well, I think you should probably learn." So we developed a program for Caleb, and he started as a dishwasher in the fast food restaurant Bernie's. And when he graduated high school this year, he was our garde manger and fry cook, and he had also was a maitre d' and a waiter in 10, and had worked banquets for us. And he had decided that he's going to go to school, and he was accepted to chef school, prestigious chef school, with the help of Sarah Seltvet, our food and beverage director at the time. And he's going to work it for 2 years. And he'd saved enough money working at the Northern that he could take the next 2 years and travel Northern Italy and learn about cooking pasta from the real Italians.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Does that not just give you tingles? Who cares if it ever works? You taught a guy has taught himself to dream that big and that deep. How could he not be a success in the future?
And he had a good starting support place too, which I think at such a young age though, I look back a lot at younger high school experiences because they just are so shaping for you, and I guarantee he looks back at that as a pivotal moment for him in his life.
Yeah, I hope he does.
I bet he does.
So the dishwasher machine that we have in Bernie's Diner is the exact same model as the dishwasher machine that we had at Bojo's Ice Cream Parlor in Rimrock Mall in 1975. That was my first food and beverage shop. And there's good old Caleb, who was in high school at the time, working that dish pit. And so, we got to talk about it a little bit. What a miserable job. But
dish pit
you gotta learn and do all the jobs.
You gotta do all the things.
You gotta do it. It's really a neat system. It's we try to work the European system a little bit at the Northern, which means you've got to work your way into the job you want. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's giving a person a hand up. We're not gonna say, guess what? We're gonna just gift you into a higher job. You got to work your way into it.
Exactly.
You appreciate it more.
And how do you know? I mean, especially in, I always think, because my previous life, I was going to chef school.
Congratulations.
I didn't.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but it is completely different. I mean, I've worked in every stage of the kitchen, and front of house, and I can honestly say that it's a different kind of life. And so some people just going, I'm going to go do it, unless they've actually experienced it. You could be shelling out, and depending on what school he's going to, it could be like $90,000 for the 2 years.
That's tons. It can be a lot of money.
So that's where giving him that experience and helping him understand, this is what it's actually like in the kitchen.
We started a program with the school district where they have a chef's program at the Career Center. And so Chef Bill over there and the HR people and I decided we would start bringing 5 or 6. They'd have to do an Iron Chef competition, and the top 5 or 6 would come over and spend a semester at the kitchens of the Northern Learning.
I love it.
And one year we had 6 start, we had 4 finish. That was our best year. 3 decided that it was not for them, and then 1 went on to chef school.
Wow.
That was a real success.
I think a win all the way around too, just to know, even if you don't like it, at least you know before you go into it and spend the money.
It was stressful last few weeks. The graduation test was the 4 of them had to put on a banquet, 4 courses. So each of them had to own a course, and they had to come up with a recipe, buy the groceries, cook it, and then present it. And we had 2 state senators.
Oh my God.
These elected officials just keep making their way. Yeah.
Well, when you can bring in a politician and say, would you like to see the future of America? They want
all
it.
in.
Yeah.
We had the superintendent, 3 or 4 people from publicly traded companies on the East Coast, and they had to stand up in front of us and tell us about their menu. And they also had to talk about their path and how they got to it. There wasn't a dry eye in the house.
Oh.
The school Superintendent Upham cried. He cried. I was so proud. It was such a wonderful opportunity. And one of those people went during that period of time. She was from senior high. She went from an at-risk student to student of the year.
Wow.
And they credited our program. I'm not sure that's fully us, but it was her. She did it. So yeah, we've had some fun.
And made really great impacts in the community. Well, Mike, it's been a delight to have you on. We like to end each episode with a few rapid fire questions. So we're going to just hear a quick message from a sponsor and jump right into those rapid fire questions. Thank you to Big Sky Economic Development for supporting the Vault at 201 North Broadway. Big Sky Economic Development is the community's economic development organization. BSED's mission is to sustain and grow our region's vibrant economy and outstanding quality of life by providing leadership and resources for business creation, expansion, retention, new business recruitment, workforce development, and community development. Learn more and connect with BSED at bigskyeconomicdevelopment.org. Welcome back for our rapid fire questions. I'm going to kick it off with, what's one of your favorite things to do in Billings?
Smoke cigars on the roof of the Northern Hotel.
From where?
Anywhere.
Any cigars from anywhere. Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Great. An exclusive experience.
Invite me the next time you go on the roof.
Come on up.
I won't necessarily sit there and smoke a cigar. Maybe I will. I don't know. You never know.
I've had a few folks up. It's a fun evening. But we just sit on lawn chairs and watch the world go by.
I will bring my own lawn chair.
Cool.
All right. What is the best advice you've ever received?
If you come up to a gate and it's open, leave it open. If it's closed, close it.
I like that.
I like that.
I had to think about it for a hot minute there.
Yeah, me too. My dad told that to me when I was a kid, and it's still there. I don't know why. I'm really not sure what it means, but it's
I think I get
good.
it. I relate. Yeah. Okay. What is some advice you would give to those maybe starting out in their careers in hospitality?
Oh, in hospitality.
Or just in general, maybe just starting out, going to that first job.
I think hospitality, if you want to live a rich and traveled life, hospitality is it. Think of a town or a city in the world without a restaurant or a hotel. So once you've mastered the jobs in that particular area that you like, you can go anywhere in the world and work.
Yeah, that's good advice. Because you travel to eat and stay at cool places.
Yeah, no lie.
At least I do.
Or even cruddy places. I mean, what the heck?
You're not going to know any different.
I got me a job at the Flea Bag Inn.
It could sound exquisite depending on where it's at. Well, Mike, where can people learn more about the Northern, book their stay, dine?
www.northernhotel.com.
Awesome. And you can eat at Bernie's for breakfast and lunch.
A wonderful dinner at 10.
Wait. For a delicious meal that's nowhere finer, try your luck at Bernie's Diner.
It's a commercial coming in.
I love it. Well, I hope all of our listeners get the opportunity to stay at the Northern, experience the amazing hospitality.
Yeah, come on over. I have a huge mortgage. I need your money.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome.
We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Make sure you are subscribed to The Vault at 201 North Broadway, wherever you podcast, including YouTube.
Connect with us on Facebook at The Vault at 201 North Broadway and Instagram at The Vault_201.
Don't forget to visit us at thevault@201.com and subscribe to our newsletter.
We will see you next time.
Bye.
So did you guys find all the vaults in here?
There's like 7.
I think so, but
Yeah.
you know what we
Six?
can't
Couple
open
upstairs.
is we can't open. So we have our marketing closet is actually a vault
Yep.
on the first floor, which is nice. But we can't get the safety deposit.
The
Do you know?
Diebold? Yeah. So
Do you
we
know the
tried.
code?
No, we don't.
Oh.
We never had the code. We know there's stuff in there. There's money
But
in
what
there.
is in it?
There's money in there?
Well, sure, they're deposits. But when the bank left, yeah, they just
Do you
left.
think there's any workers left in Billings that worked here that would know it?
No, they don't. But we can get it open. But it's about 20 years ago, it was about $15,000.
Yeah.
So no.
Can't you just get like a...
We need
what
like
are
a
those things
thief.
in the bank?
A
Yeah.
thief. We
You
need
can
it.
do that.
We
I
just
think
need a thief
it
that
probably
can
wouldn't be fun.
yeah. Okay, we can get started.
Because we have a brand new,
Yeah.
we have an old safe at the Northern too.
Oh, where is that?
It's down in the basement now, but it was the company safe.
Can we tour it?
We can't get it open.
Oh.
Yeah, we were robbed during construction, and I had like $3,000 and a bottle of scotch in there,
Wow.
and they beat the tar out of it with a sledgehammer, and it gave up all the controls, but
But didn't open.
no one open, and so,
So
it's
there's
like.
just $3,000 and a bottle of scotch.
And it takes like 4,000 to get it open. So
You're like, is
not
it worth
worth
it?
it.
That scotch might be still good.
no, it was Johnny Walker Red. It was terrible. the only time I've ever been to the Crystal too.
The only time.
What happens at that crystal never stays at that crystal.
No, it doesn't.
It's like Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yes.
Which we can
Although,
get into.
I got some stories.